All right, welcome to tonight's video. We're going to look at tutu, slope, and rate of change. So we're going to find the slope of the lines and classify as parallel and perpendicular lines. So today we'll just find the slope and classify, and then we'll use slope to solve some real life problems. All right, so let's talk about the slope of a line. The slope is the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change. So all that really said is the change in y over the change in x, or what we've always known as the rise over run. So there it is, yes. So you want to write down what the symbol is. You don't necessarily have to write down the ratio of vertical change, but I do want you to know that slope is rise over run, and I do want you to know that the symbol is m. All right, this is an example, and you don't need to write this example down, but I want you to remind yourself where the rise is. It's the distance on the x-axis, and where the run is, and that's the distance. Did I say that right? The rise is the distance on the y-axis, and the run is the distance on the x-axis. All right, so we're going to find the slope on this line. So first thing you do is you look for two good points. So when a good point is where it's on the corner of the boxes, like this guy here, that's not a good point because he's in the middle of a box. This is not a good point because he's in the middle of the box. So these two, where I have the solid points, are good points. So let me show you again where the good points are without all the other stuff on there. All right, and you draw a triangle, and the up-down part is the rise, so you go up, and that's +2, and then we're going to go over to the right one, which is +1. So m equals 2 over 1, which is 2. All right, so now let's go to the next one. This one, this is the x-axis, so notice where the x is. That's the x-axis. And so now we're trying to find the slope. So we're trying to find the slope of this line here that I'm coloring in purple so that you can tell the difference. And we're trying to find the rise over the run. So if you notice, there is no rise. All there is run, which means that this is 0 slope. 0 rise over however many runs you want. And 0 over anything is 0. So this is called 0 slope. All right, next is find the slope of the line. So again, we're going to find two good points. Looks like all the points are good points, which is nice of it. We're going to go up one, and then we're going to go left one, which is negative. So it's rise over run. We don't put negatives in the denominator. We put them in the numerator, and 1 over 1 makes 1. So the answer is -1. All right, next is this guy. So you see that this guy here is vertical. Vertical lines have no slope. Right? It's not sloped. There is no slant to it. It's just straight up and down. Okay, so now let's look at this next one. This is the formula for slope. It is so important it gets this little memorize the formula thing. Okay, and look, the lady pointing at it, we've got it shaking, super important. So now let's use that formula to work out this problem. So m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Probably should change colors. So this is equal to, right, what I do is I put x sub 1, y sub 1. The first point gets the 1s, the second point gets the 2s. I put that above the first x and the first y, the second x and the second y. So now all we have to do is substitute. So the second y minus the first y over the second x minus the first x. Notice I had to do a minus a negative because minus for the formula and negative because of -3 in the x. So then you just simplify. 1 minus 5 is -4. Change this to plus a positive, which makes 5. So my answer is -4/5. Yay me. I am a winner. Okay. So there's that. I will delete this so you can kind of see what's going on. You can write down the formula in case you didn't. And then this, what I want to show you here is that if I do rise over run, I want you to notice I get the same thing as the formula did. 1, 2, 3, 4. So +4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5, which equals -4/5. So the formula is basically talking about the mapping of the slope here, rising, running. All right, so let's look at the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. So again, this is x sub 1, this is y sub 1, this is x sub 2, y sub 2. So you label the points, and then we're going to say m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. We substitute in y sub 2, which is 3, minus 2 over negative 4 minus 3. Right? Subtract 3 minus 2 is 1. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. And our slope is 1 over negative 7. I shouldn't write it like that. I should write it as negative 1/7. So this one was bad because I left a negative in the denominator. So make sure that you rewrite it so that you have the negative in the numerator. All right, next. All right, so now we're going to look at the 4 different types of slope, which we've basically already talked about. Positive, which goes uphill from left to right. Negative. Negative slope goes downhill from left to right. Zero slope is boring. Whoop, that guy had a little bit of slope. It's just a flat line. And then no slope is like death if you're a skier. That's bad. Okay, so this cute little penguin is going up the hill. Again, it's from left to right. So the penguin's going up the hill. That's positive slope. All right. So m is greater than 0, which is another way to say positive. So let's find the slope of this line. Hopefully this is positive. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Write down m equals x sub 2, oops, sorry, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So y sub 2, negative 3 minus 3 over negative 4 minus negative 1. Right, so on top we're going to have negative 6. On the bottom we're going to have negative 3, which reduces to a positive 2. Right, so the slope of the line is positive. It should look like it goes positive from left to right. It goes uphill from left to right. Right, negative slope. So notice that if you scan across from left to right, the penguin is sliding down the hill. Right? So negative slopes, this is an example of things that have negative slopes. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. M is equal to negative 5 minus 3 over 2 minus a negative 6, right? This is x sub y sub 1. This is y sub 2. Let's try that again. This is y sub 2. This is y sub 1. This is x sub 2. This is x sub 1. So we have 2 over plus a positive 8, reduce it to 1/4. And we're winners. Next is a horizontal line. So one way to kind of think of this is that slope is okay. M is okay. When it's okay, it's 0 because 0 divided by anything is 0. So it doesn't matter what k is on the bottom, it's okay. See how boring this is? This is like cross-country skiing where you have to do all the work. Not really that much fun. Okay, so that's 0 slope, 0 fun. All right, so here's an example of what 0 slope looks like in the equation. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So the formula again is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2, 3, minus y sub 1, 3, over x sub 2, negative 2, minus x sub 1, 4. 3 minus 3, 0. So 0 on top is always 0. So this is 0 slope. It doesn't even matter that there's a 6 here because 0 divided by anything is 0. So now here's the last one. This is like no slope, right? Because there is no slope here. This is where it's undefined, right? Undefined is a really good word for this because that's basically what the fraction is doing. So if we look at this, undefined, the line is vertical. So no slope is vertical, right? That guy is screaming, yeek, because he is not having fun skiing, right? He's scared. All right, this is also not a function if anybody cares. All right, and this is how I remember. It's a number over 0, which spells no. no slope, right? Number divided by 0. Any number on top, you never can have 0 on the bottom of a fraction anyways, which is also undefined, which means no slope. So here is an example of what no slope looks like. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2, 9, minus y sub 1, 3, over x sub 2, negative 8, minus x sub 1, negative 8, minus a negative, plus positive, 6, over 0. Oh no, can't have 0 on the bottom. So that reminds us that it's no slope or undefined. Both of them are the right answers. Note that I did not just leave 6 over 0 and just go to the next problem. You have to write either no slope or undefined as your answer. All right, so now let's say that we have this problem and we want to just be able to look at it and know whether it's the line rises, falls, horizontal, or vertical. So how do we do that? Well, we use the slope formula. So m is equal to x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Right? We're going to find the slope. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I'm going to get negative 6 minus negative 4 over 1 minus 3. Minus a negative means plus positive. Negative 2 over negative 2, which equals 1. So that's positive, right? M equals 1, which means that it rises from left to right. Right? Negative slope falls. So this is going to be negative, less than 0. This does not rise. This falls. So it goes in this direction or it's negative. Right? 0 is horizontal. And so just to remind yourself, this is okay, and this is not okay. So again, this obviously must be important because I've said it about 85 times, I feel like. All right, here's an example. Look at that. Cute little graph. Let's count the slope just for fun. Up 2, right 2, 2 over 2 reduces to 1. If you look at the graph, you notice it's going uphill from left to right. All right, so let's look at another one. Without graphing, so that means we're just going to have to use the slope formula. Again, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. It's like a song at this point. M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 equals y sub 2, 5, minus y sub 1, negative 1 over 2 minus 2 equals plus a positive 6 over 0. So what does that mean? That means no slope. And if it's no slope, therefore, 3 little dots stacked like that means therefore. Therefore, vertical. Bam. Winners. Look, I already typed that in because I am a superstar. So, we got vertical. Look, that's what it looks like. There it is, vertical. All right, let's do this bad boy again. Okay, this is so much fun. Guess what I'm going to say? X sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub, oh my goodness, you didn't guess because I said it wrong. X sub 1, Y sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub 2. So now we're going to do M equals Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. Plug in the numbers. 5 minus 3 over 1 minus negative 2 plus positive 2 over 3. So positive, therefore it rises. So see how that is rising from left to right because we are winners. All right, next one. Oh my gosh, more fun. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Find the slope. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 equals. So now we just plug in the numbers. Y sub 2 is negative 2 minus negative 2 over x sub 2 is 3 minus 1 plus positive 0, 2. So whenever 0 is on the top, that means 0 slope. 0 slope is horizontal. So we look at the picture, look at that, I'm right, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So tomorrow we'll practice some more. Hopefully by nothing else you have that slope formula memorized, because I said it 85 times.